Hello there. I'm Haslinda Amin of Bloomberg Television. The pandemic has upended our lives potentially forever, forcing us to reassess how we live, rethink the way we work, and reframe how to thrive in business. So far, we've adapted well, but how about the long term? Let's get insights, perspectives. Sunil Mittal is founder and chairman of Bharti Enterprises, a telecom giant in India, which started as a small manufacturer of bicycle parts back in the 1970s, but it now operates in 18 countries with more than 400 million customers. Mr. Mittal, thank you so much for your time. Good to have you with us.
Haslinda, it's a pleasure to be with you on this first Qatar Economic Forum.
First off, Mr. Mittal, what's your playbook post-pandemic? What will be the legacy, you think, of this pandemic on global commerce?
I think first and foremost is the bringing alive back the broken down global system of trade and investments. I think the last few years before the pandemic, we saw nation states becoming more self-centered. And this pandemic, to my mind, has brought to fore the need to collaborate and to open oneself and nations to a larger grand ambition of keeping the world safe and together.
So how are you rethinking your business now, given the scenario you've just painted?
Well, very clearly, digital acceleration has forced the hand of almost every major corporate entity in the world. And more and more digital tools and mediums are being used to do things for the companies itself within the systems, and importantly, how best to serve the customers in a more efficient and faster way. And in my own opinion, companies that are not going to adopt to the digital ways of life are going to start to fall behind. And this is something that is engaging all the boards very seriously now.
So you touch on technology. It is a double-edged sword. Connectivity has become even more important now than ever before. You're trialing the 5G network now. Can 5G be the answer to bridging inequality in countries like India, where the pandemic has even deepened that divide?
Well, in my nearly 28 years of life in telecommunications, I have never seen a technology which is really at the cutting edge, going to serve the remote and rural needs first and foremost. 5G is more for industrial applications, autonomous cars, management of drones, robotic surgeries. So I think we'll have to find other ways. And thankfully, there is technology at hand to do that. More and more radio networks going deeper, but still places which can't be served by radio, we will have to go from space to serve them.
So what are Bharti's own plans to serve the people? What are your plans on that front?
Well, we are firing on all cylinders, connecting more and more homes on fiber so that the shift of traffic that has happened from offices to homes is well served, and we are doing well at that. More spread of terrestrial radio networks, going more and more deeper into rural areas. And finally, we have now taken a very big, bold bet with OneWeb, which is going to be one of the first 2 LEO constellations in space, serving every square inch of the world, whether it's earth, oceans, mountains, deserts, jungles, anywhere, you will have a radio signal to serve the people who are not connected to internet. And do keep in mind, half of the world is still offline. And given the progress this world has made, I think it's a matter of shame that we are still having so many people which are left behind.
Let's pick up on OneWeb. It is a mini satellite firm. It's one of the most exciting projects you've undertaken, you've embarked on in recent times. Talk to us about the business case for Bharti. What goals, what targets have you set for yourself?
Well, just imagine a telecom network beaming out of space with 648 satellites moving at 25,000 kilometers an hour speed around the globe and covering the entire globe in 1 minute and 19 seconds. 1 hour and 19 minutes, you can imagine the power that it has in its hands. With very high speed, low latency bandwidth, which was missing from the earlier satellites, we will now create the magic of serving those who remain unconnected. Bharti is leading this charge along with the British government. Eutelsat, the European company, which has the French government involved, is also a part of it. So is SoftBank. And we are delighted to be nearing our vision of starting to provide services soon in the coming year.
So how will it complement Bharti's digital outreach, you think?
Well, just imagine when I go to a customer, he's got many rural installations, depots, warehouses, factories, which need connectivity. And he has got offices in Mumbai and major cities. So now you offer one single solution from Bharti to say, here we are serving your end-to-end needs, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are, whether it's deserts or, Himalayas, we will serve you. And then there are needs of defense authorities, maritime, aviation. I'm sure you've experienced the poor internet services in aircrafts. I think we are talking about those days behind us now, once LEO constellation starts to beam into aircrafts.
Mr. Mittal, will it be a game changer for you? You've talked about how just within the telecom space in India, there are now 2.5 players, no longer 3. Will this be a game changer for Bharti?
Well, I think there are two separate sensations here. One is really India, where from 12 operators, we are down to really 2.5 now. Will India go down to 2? My own view is I'll be tragic. India is a very large country. It deserves to have 3 private sector players. And I hope we end up with that situation. But as far as Airtel, my own company, is concerned, it is gaining ground. It has gained market share. It's in a very solid position. In Africa, we have now strengthened our company. It's doing extremely well. So we remain very steadfast in our ambitions. But what OneWeb does is really sit on top of that ambition to serve the areas that we could have never imagined that we'll be able to serve. So it's really a complement of a technology that is coming through.
I want to touch on the consumer behavior. Bharti is across sectors, telecom, insurance, food, education, real estate. Has anything changed fundamentally for the consumer, and in particular, the 1 billion consumers in India, where everybody, the likes of Amazon, Google, Facebook, all wanting a slice of that huge pie?
Well, indeed, a lot has changed. Given that there's been a deceleration in economic activities, the world has gone minus 5.1%. The only way to quickly bring the economic momentum back is, as I said, through digital medium. We saw within 2 weeks, 250 million students moved online in China. The same is happening everywhere else in the world. We really need to, support the digital vision. And our Prime Minister, who has had digital from day one when he assumed office as his mission, one of the 4 pillars, has been driving this agenda for the nation. And I'm glad we today have fintech coming through mobile phones. We have healthcare services coming through mobile phones, the identification coming through mobile phones, and importantly, education type of services which are essential. And that is where I would say Qatar is very highly focused. I served on the Education Above All Foundation of Sheikh Moza. So education is one of the most important needs for India today. We have to educate our 250 million young children who are between the age of 6 and 16. And if we keep on getting disrupted in running our schools and universities, the only way is through digital medium. Amazon, Google, Facebook, all these companies are coming and supporting India's vision towards that medium, ensuring there are tools available, there are mediums of digital connectivity, and importantly, there are enough entrepreneurial ecosystem developing around these digital ecosystems that they are able to serve the customer needs.
Mr. Mittal, you said before that those who are here yesterday are not here today. Those who are here today may not be here tomorrow, and yourself included. What new businesses might your group be looking at to ensure that you stay relevant tomorrow?
Yeah, I still maintain that. I mean, a lot of people believe that they are here forever. The fact is, you keep on looking at history, and you will realize many of those companies who never thought they will disappear have actually gone off the face of the business charts. So yes, one is always conscious. You need to build companies for the future. You need to build companies for the next generations. And in that order, we keep on reinventing ourselves, moving from 2G to 3G and very quickly to 4G, and now moving on to 5G, and more importantly, moving straight into space now. So we have to stay relevant. Things are changing faster than what we saw a decade back. And if we don't remain alert and alive, we will be history.
Big plans, Mr. Mittal, looking at new investors coming into either Bharti Airtel or your holding company. Anything we should know about?
Well, a lot of people knock at our doors. We refuse more capital than what we accept. We have been blessed with great, significant investors. Qatar Foundation Endowment made its largest investment ever in India in Bharti Airtel. Qatar, Investment Authority (QIA) has invested in Africa with us. Singtel, Temasek, GIC, and the whole globe's, top charts of investors are with us in our companies. And I can tell you that we get investments easily. Bharti raised $12 billion in the last 24 months during this difficult period when the industry was going through crisis. So I remain confident. Shall we raise more money in the near term? Well, you can never say never, but right now there's nothing on the other.